Well, hey there, happy Monday. Well, welcome back and happy almost holiday. We do Christmas around here, so Merry Christmas to you. I can't believe it's come so fast, but I guess when you have little children doing their advent calendar and marking everything off, it seems to go so fast. And I still have tons of wrapping to do because now that the girls have been home, I don't have that widget of time to wrap during the day. So we're gonna make this pretty quick, and then I'm gonna lock them in their rooms and hopefully wrap up the rest of our wrapping. So today we've got just a wee little tour, and then I'm going to talk to you about grow lights. So let's check out the tour. Okay, over here in bed one, we got rid of, the tomato plant, the okra, and the loofah. So now the collards, and this was like a little branch of the tomato, so I just left it. But everything else in this bed is getting more sun and is happier. The kale is happy. So that's kind of bed one. The oregano looks okay. The mint looks amazing. The strawberries are actually doing okay. And I think that's because if we look at the flowers over here, even though they get as little shade as these do, or as much shade rather, that's kind of what gave me the faith to go ahead and plant these. So this everbearing is still flowering, and there's one strawberry down there that I really need to clip off. The peas are still growing good. They just took a bit of the beating with the wind, and I need to get some twine and run up this ladder so they have something to grow on. This right here is my happiest thing, the Brussels sprouts, because a lot of the rest of the brassicas are working on making broccoli right now, so they're kind of slowing down on some of their leaf production. So we're going to clip all these off to have with our veggie tray for Christmas, and then we'll start seeing some side shoots start to come off. This bed over here is pleasantly happy. All the Swiss chard is feeling awesome. This is a volunteer mustard. The kale's happy. All the peas are looking to have something to grab onto now, and this mustard green is just out of control, but that's all right. We finally saw some magic pop up with all of these plants over here. So we've got spinach, a bunch of red romaine that needs to be thinned out. That's the cilantro over here, and the dill coming in nicely. So really happy with how this little kiddie pool's going. As you can see, a lot of the bean plant is starting to kind of go to the wayside, and some of the pods are starting to dry out, but I cracked open a couple of them and they're not quite the color that I want them to be yet, so I'm just gonna go ahead and let these go a little bit longer. Well, as you can see, we've got a couple of new little things going on in the garden, and a lot of us right now are thinking about setting up our transplants for the spring garden, and I myself have been thinking about that. And I mentioned before that I was going to be getting a light, and I actually got it this past weekend, and I'm going to share that with you. But I really wanted to chat with you a little bit, because obviously if you Google grow light, you're gonna get a ton of different information, and it's really overwhelming when all your desire is to get some of your seedlings going. And if you're like me, you may have tried to just put them near a window, maybe try to bring them in and out, and if you've got a greenhouse, kudos to you. But this year I really wanted to get a good start with my seedlings, so I got myself a grow light. Now in the past, one of the easiest things I was able to use when I wanted to get seedlings going was just a CFL light, like an old shop light, or those squirrely kind of CFL bulbs. Some of the smaller ones that you might see like under a kitchen counter, the T5 bulbs, those are all good examples of something that you could use if you already have those types of things around to get some growth growing with your seedlings. Now the only thing is you want to make sure that those lights are really close to the plants, so that they really get the full exposure of the light. And then as the plant goes, you just continue to move your light up. Now, it's just not that easy to find CFL bulbs anymore, or even the ballast for them. So if it's something that you've already got, then maybe you can find some replacement bulbs on Amazon. I have one that was about this long, and it's only about that wide, but I really want a bigger coverage area, because you know I'm covering about a 4-foot shelf. Now, the reason why it gets even more confusing with lights is because with the legalization of marijuana, there's a lot more information out there, and a lot more links and information about grow lights that have more to do with a situation like that. And what I really mean about a situation like that is people who are growing that type of plant are typically growing that plant from start to finish indoors. So they're completely manipulating the entire light environment for that plant. So that's where you're going to see out there Google showing you big words like metal halide or high pressured sodium. And those are really, really advanced lights for just getting your seedlings ready to go, getting 2 or 3 inches of growth on them, or even more before you want to put them out into the garden. But just to break it down for you a little bit, the reason why those 2 big names are there is because metal halide lights are designed to give you a bluish red spectrum. And that's important because it mimics the sun's natural sunlight during the spring and early summer. And then towards the end of the summer and the early fall, the light spectrum from the sun changes. So that's where people switch into a high pressured sodium, which is going to mimic more of the yellow and red phases of the sun, and those are the colors that are going to tell the plant to shift into flowering or producing their fruit, just the same way that they would with the cycle of the natural sun. But as I said, we only need something really simple that's going to be a strong source of light for our plants at hopefully a really inexpensive rate, because those more high-end expensive ones that Google's going to show you grow lights are going to be a little bit of a drag on your electricity. Now, thanks to my good friend Sydney over at the Naked Garden, he and Tori are some of my favorite people to watch. They're over in Texas, in the North Texas, Dallas area. But sometimes Sydney goes away for work. So if you check out their channel right now, they're kind of popping back and forth between Georgia and Texas. But I've really been impressed with the grow light system that Sydney's had going on with a lot of different seedlings that he's been working on, from just your normal everyday vegetable seedlings to German chamomile. So I finally just sent him a message on Instagram. I'm like, Sydney, what is it that you're using? And lo and behold, I hit the jackpot, because what he's using was like a 5,000 lumen shop light that he got at Walmart for $25. Now, I actually found that light for $21.94. So depending on where you're at and what the taxes are like, that's about how inexpensive you can get a light that's going to be a low drainage on your electricity, but a great source of energy growing for your seedlings and your to-be transplants. So I'm going to take you inside and show you what that light looks like, and I hope that you're able to find one yourself, and I hope that this just kind of pushes away all the stress and all the over information there is out there about grow lights, and that if you can just find your local Walmart and find this particular light, you can really trim down that whole scenario. Now, we're looking to mount this light in here on this shelf that I've got, but we're also going to have a second setup where we use this light and we mount it on a PVC system that's going to enable us to lower it and raise it as our plants grow. So not today, but in the future when we get the PVC system set up, we'll show you everything about how we build that. But right now I'm going to show you that light. Okay, so here is the light that I've got. You see it's 5,000 lumen. It's a 4-foot LED shop light, and this is awesome because it's corded, so you don't have to do any wiring with it, and it's got a pull chain switch. Now, I saw one that had a lower lumens, and it was about $16 when I was there, but these were my keywords: 5,000 lumen and 4-foot LED light. That's the exact information that my friend Sydney gave me. So that's how complex it is, and it says that it's even got high output LEDs never change a bulb. So hopefully this is going to have the ability to last us through many seasons of getting our seedlings going. I hope your holiday seasons are filled with so much light and love, and I hope you have the best day ever. And thanks again for checking in with us.